All systems have been alerted to your presence, sir.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
I hope you know what you're doing.
The Emperor has been expecting you.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Toy Chest, episode 31, being recorded on May 27th, 2025, the day after Memorial Day. Hope everybody had a good one. But we are back to talk toys. I am your host, Darth Moocher, and I've got Scott. I don't have Scott. I have Alexander Storm.
It's kind of like Scott.
See how the routine just is embedded?
You're gone once, and then I move up to the second spot. See, Scott?
That's all it takes. That's all it takes. And, of course, joining us is Chet Maddox from the SKN Network. It looks like a SKN takeover today.
Well, you know, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Also, hey, I wouldn't say it's a takeover, right?
I mean, well, Alex is officially,
Yeah.
so.
I'm on the channel already.
Yeah, exactly. But so Scott can't make it today just because we moved dates, and Tommy is taking the day off also. So it's us three.
Right.
Going. Wait. What do we have here? I heard his name.
What?
I'm just popping in to put Alexander back where he belongs.
Man.
That's.
Thought I moved up. Now I moved down. Damn.
This guy,
All
Mr.
right, man.
Solo.
See it.
It's on the replay. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. It was like Beetlejuice. We said his name 3 times, and he had to pop in.
Yes,
So,
dear.
That was classic.
well, Commander Bly hitting us early with a super chat, $4.99 to kick Blitz off the stream. Also joining late due to stupid work. But yeah, so Blitz, when you watch this, Tommy's already off the stream today. So
I mean, you could use it to kick me off.
yeah, I mean, well,
yeah.
how about okay, real fast, complimentary. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone, Alex. All right, it's
It
cool.
worked. It worked. It worked.
Oh man. But before we get into what we want to talk about today and all the toy chest, let's give our Shadow Council a proper shout out right here. Just real fast. Thank you guys in the Shadow Council. You guys have made this channel with paying our bills on time. And if you want to join that ever-growing list, there's a QR code right there, and scan that. On Wednesday, tomorrow, our proper show, we will have a rundown for all you guys. Scott will give you guys the proper shout out that you deserve. But before we get into it, everything in the pit, we have Stu John Jedi always there. Yeah, Sarlacc Digest on a Tuesday. I know. It's weird. I'm already trying to wrap my hand around it, by calling Alex Scott. It's crazy. Commander Bly, want to edit that day, the day on the thumbnail? I don't know what you're talking about, man. I don't know what you're talking about. It's think you're getting old there. I don't know what's happening. But Commander Bly also checking in. We got Howlrunner Base.
All right.
We got Basil G. We have Santo 1414. and a whole bunch of other people waiting to talk Star Wars toys, Star Wars collectibles. But first, I got this last weekend. I was meeting up with the SKN guys here, and Chet got that retro pack, right?
Yeah.
That Cantina retro pack that we discussed, that we kind of discussed last time we were here about it was coming. Scott found them. First off, Target had that botch up, right? Like, there was online, and then they canceled all the orders, and then we found them like, oh, you could get them online and pick up in the stores, right? So everybody's running to the stores, and I know Scott bought 2 of them, one for Chet and one for himself. And if you go right now, there's a bunch of reviews on that on the 1 minute toy reviews. But what did Target go ahead and do like right off the bat? There's a screenshot for all you guys that are still wanting to get it and wanting to know what we're talking about. Check that out. $60 for this retro pack, and it's now $30 next day, right? I mean, didn't even give it a chance to So my question is, I mean, first off, it's good for us, right? So anybody who's wanting to go on target.com, find it, you can buy it and pick up a store, or you can find it. No, you can't do it online, right? You have to go in the stores.
No, yep, it's only in the stores, and the stores don't keep up to date with their in stock items. So
So what you guys need to do, if you find it for regular price, or if you bought it for regular price, find one of these videos like Chet had said on one of his your short that you did, right? Find a video proving that it's on clearance and go get your money back. Go get your
not only that, you want to have it as like a picture, so you could just say, "Oh, I took a picture of it, but it's supposed to be on clearance."
Yeah.
And as long as you buy it, they'll honor it at any Target. You just have to do it. I did it with a few Star Wars Lego sets too.
Yeah. We've got Toy Mercs checking in. What's up? Yeah. Take a screenshot of that. Go right there, take a screenshot, present it to Target, and get your difference back. Now, I want to discuss why that's happening, guys. Like, I mean, what do you guys think? So they had the botch up, on the online canceling orders. I can't see any company saying, "I'm sorry, here's $20 out. Here's $20 just for saying I'm sorry." Like, not Target. It's not. Target. It's a hot item. Everybody's buying it, so it's not like they're peg warming, and it was only out for like a week. Why the clearance?
Look, my hypothesis is that I think they're sitting on a crap load of this in the warehouse. Think they made a mistake, canceled orders, stuff started hitting the stores, and now they found that there's a backload of stuff, or some jackass sent the stuff over to Ross and Ollie's early, and
they just went from Ollie's, man. It's just like
they know it's bypassing. It's going to start going directly there, but it's not because of the generosity of Hasbro. We know that part.
It's not exactly. And like I said, there's no way, even as this whole debacle, Target or Hasbro saying, "I'm sorry, here's $20 off." No. They were just like, "It's available now. Go get it." That's 100% hands down.
Absolutely.
It was like just a weird thing for me. I'm like, why is this on clearance now? Only like a week after it. It's just weird, man. Like,
is that how you took it? I took it as like a blessing for fans. Like, where they've been hit so hard that the minute it happened, like, run to the store, get some money back if you can. It's like, it's a good thing, because that normally does a swing for the consumer.
Right. It normally does it. It just seems like an odd choice to have a conscious decision of, let's give back. Right? That's why I'm questioning it. It's like, there's no way they're just because they have a heart today.
Exactly.
Goes
or maybe
to tell
they're jacking those prices up. Just give them the $20 a day. We'll get it tomorrow.
And they're still probably making money on that, even if at $29.99.
I'm sure.
Chet, did you get your? Were able to get your difference on that?
Well, I don't have my receipt. Mr. Solo has my receipt, but he did try to go in, and they told him something about it's not, or some version of clearance or something. But once Solo sends over the receipt, I'm going to try down here. If it works down here, then I'll just take another one of his receipts, get the difference, and then I'll send him the difference. But I need the receipt to do it. But
gotcha.
I don't know. I don't really understand what the heavy discount thing is, and I couldn't really find anything. I was doing some research on it before the show. I couldn't really find any reason why I went there, other than probably like what Storm said, that there's probably just a boatload of them. And here's the thing: is like that I also don't understand that, because like you could put them all out on the shelf and they would be gone. So I don't, you know, I don't really know. It's an interesting tactic, and then it could just be, I don't know,
it's a major glitch, and that they just let it go through, right? And they said, "Oh, we'll just chalk this one up to," and someone got fired over it. That's
Oh,
all.
I'm sure.
Someone got.
I'm sure.
There's no way Dave is going to be handling the pre-orders again. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's catching up on that, because I wanted to, you know, like I said, it's questionable, you know, and as we all are out there on the hunt, when they pulled it off online at first, I was like, oh, you know, maybe people should be going into the stores, right? Because now we're at this time of day and age of everything Amazon, right? Amazon is just it's everything. So maybe the day of pre-ordering, especially exclusives, shouldn't be. I'm the guy of convenience, and I'm not speaking for myself. I'm speaking like in general, right? Do you guys think pre-orders should just be in store only, like line up old fashioned, go in so you're in the store?
I don't think that, but I will give you this though. It did drive excitement. It got people to
FOMO,
run down to the store.
big time.
Now I don't know if it was like, you know, in cases like where Scott went in and grabbed two, is it more people going in and buying multiples because they think this is a canceled item?
I think that
it's technically not a canceled item, it's just canceled order wise.
Right.
So I think that the hysteria, but look, I've seen more toy hunts on YouTube about it. People seem to do a buzz. If it's intentional, it's a smart intentional. It's got people to run into the stores, but I don't think it was. But it's good to see this though.
Yeah. Something's got to give eventually in the future of retail. You know, like I said, like me, if I had that choice of like, oh, it's in store only, I'd be like, oh, man, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to do that. Just give me my pre-order. But at the same time, I would be excited for that kind of change in exclusives. You know what I mean? To get you in that mode again. But
they're making the toy hunts almost too difficult. You know, we used to go to the store. You go to one, tops two, you could find your item. Like literally, and Chet and I know we live in the same area. Like you could go to 5 or 6 of them, and maybe the 6th one and burn gas all over town, and maybe you might find it, maybe you might not. It's made the hunt a little bit more difficult. I think if they did have it branched out through stores, I think that would work. Or there's the East Coast version. Usually out here we see East Coasters getting all the best of the stuff, and I was just walk into any stores, and then we have such a bad delay. And then when it gets out here, it's just not on it. So if they could balance it out a little bit better, and you could find items at your local retailer, I think that would work. I think it would drive people back in, because there's a sentiment of it's probably not there. Yeah,
I mean, shopping in our growing up was always like, you know, go down this aisle. Okay, I'll pick this. I mean, it's just like, you know, in your face, right? Online, it's like search item, boom, cart, pick up, drive up. Someone hands it to you, gone. And like I said, and I'm just using this as a kind of like a things that I see shopping in general, just life, you know, just like I said. Otherwise, anything retail is going to have the Amazon sticker on it. I mean, some people like that. I'm indifferent, right? It's like, okay, I understand, you know, times change, times always change, and Amazon won't last forever either. There'll always be something better or different and all that stuff. But I can see it. I can see it happening where fast forward 15 years and there is no such thing as a retail. It's all Amazon, you know?
And I think variety is the thing that helps. I think
you need
the Targets, you need the Walmarts, you need the Amazons, you need the Rosses, and all. You do need these major retailers, because if it all does shape in, everything's off Amazon, then who affects price and how
jobs
do we get that down? You know?
Yeah. Oh man, but see how our toy corner sparks a whole like, you know, discussion of.
World domination.
It's like, see that we're not just about toys. We're think tanks here. You know, it's like, you know, come to these. We're all about retail and physical items in our hands anyway. All right. So let's do this. Let's hit the Black Series and Vintage Collection. Let's get an update on everything. I can tell you on Black Series, we're just getting things in. Just things are hitting the mail. Like, who said it? Basil, his Hammerhead, his Mama Nadon shipped today. Awesome. Yeah, I got my what is it? Illuminari Saboba wave in, and I don't think I'm expecting another wave of Star Wars for a while. And Black Series.
Okay.
I know that again, the retro on the vintage side of it, because Black Series, we're only waiting for I'll pull it up real fast. Where's our assets here? No, that's vintage. We don't like those. Okay, because Scott's not here, so we don't like those. So the SM33 wave, I guess we're waiting on.
Yeah.
You can find the exclusive stuff on Target.com, like the Jedi Sand Trooper, the new Range Trooper. There's things like Trooper building you can find, but that's where we're waiting for the Dash Render Han Solo Chewbacca wave to give us some inkling of shipping. I forget. I think that's in July. If I'm not mistaken.
Too. I think you're right on that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're kind of almost caught up on the Black Series as far as them starting to ship and sorry, as the chat's funny sometimes. Yeah, so we're kind of getting caught up on like, all right, when's the next wave of pre-orders? When's the next live stream? Right? They were trying to hit things monthly. We did have our May 4th live stream. There's Yojo June coming up, so I know G.I. Joe's going to dominate the live streams in June, but there should be some sort of Star Wars, even if it's a couple figures here and there, you know. But then, of course, they did promise a big panel at San Diego Comic-Con in July.
Yeah,
so
they're going to drop a bunch of stuff then.
Yeah. Let's go back to Stu John. I see a day when Hasbro sales are only sold directly via Amazon. Yeah. Maybe they do pretty good on their pulse, though. I will say that. Yeah. All right. So that is Black Series. Do you guys have anything to report? Like, have you gotten any figure? Are you looking for any figures on Black Series wise? Are you troop building any of these? Because it's actually a good time to troop build.
You know what? I think it is. I think also too. We've been seeing this over on Toy Box. Like, hold off on a lot of that troop building, because I got a feeling that with the jack up of pricing that we all know is gonna go up.
Yeah.
Ross and Ollie's at the end of the year is maybe the place to go find
lot
of these figures. I got a feeling that right around the October, November, it's gonna be a fire sale that's going on, man.
That's a good tip, because all the troop builders, like the ISB guard or the soldier, the Jedi trooper, and the 2-packs, mostly all Target exclusives, and Target likes to throw them on those end caps, and you might find them for $14.99, $9.99, or whatever, and then I'll be snagging every stormtrooper I can up,
Exactly.
Of course.
Yeah, I think I'm looking for stormtroopers. We talked about a photo shoot that we're going to do with some of the stuff you have. But I'll be honest with you, one of the ones that I didn't get yet, and I want. The reason why I haven't ordered it is because I don't know how many I want. But it's the Night Trooper.
The Death Troopers, the from Rogue One, the
Black Series, the Night Trooper. So I just don't know how many of those I want. That's why I didn't pre-order them yet.
Well, let's see. There's about 14 I say there's 14 on screen.
Yeah,
I hear you, man. I hear you. Yeah, that 2-pack with the Shore Trooper and the Death Trooper. That should go, and they should reissue that one, because I don't even like the sculpts from the original. That's a good one that they should redo, but I doubt. I think they're just reusing them just to get troop builders out, and they'll be background characters. All right, everybody's waiting for, or maybe just Hal Runner or Stu John. I think Stu John's a TVC collector. We talked about the retro Cantina pack, and that's the retro stuff. Who did? I think the Heir to the Empire wave, the 3-pack shipped. That Scott let me know that did ship.
Okay,
and so expect that to come in. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, Stu John.
Black Series. Okay.
Yeah, you got it, man. Yeah, Basil's the one. Basil's the one. Yeah, Scott. I'm sorry, man. You're just not here to defend it. You're not here to defend it. And yeah. All right, Basil. I don't expect much. Again, no new announcements. Just a couple things that have been shipped. So, the same thing with Black Series, right? Expect a live stream coming in June. I don't expect a big one, but then Comic-Con, a big release. You know, like they according to Tommy, our Bliss transmission when his ear on the street, they are saving a lot of stuff for Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Scott Sell Obi-Wan came in with the 501st Trooper.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All
So
right.
they are starting to come in. So yeah, Hellrunner is a TVC also.
Okay.
There's a couple of you guys in there. There's a couple of you. What is Stu John? Though I do have some TVC and most of them are actually vintage figures. If Tommy was here,
yeah,
I mean that dude. First off, had probably the biggest haul in the world from the ICC con.
Yeah, it's like he backed up a pickup. And I mean, like how much stuff I could get in. It's like, do you need a U-Haul next year?
Seriously. And so, and when he was doing his haul from the convention, I mean, besides Hot Toys, which we are going to get into majorly here in a minute, but I mean, he was throwing up some vintage collection figures and old 3 3/4 and of course all clones. Like Tommy's, loves the clones, which is great. But it's just funny how it's multiple lines now. Tommy's gotten the bug, especially the old Kenner figure bug. And I saw that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Bliss Transmissions, link below. I got to give him the proper, shout out and everything. Go check out his Friday video. I think he did the haul. And there was another video he dropped about the 3 3/4 thing. And I think he did a very cool thing where he had all his friends pick a Kenner figure and he made a shelf out of it. And that's his first vintage shelf. And wow, dude, you good luck with that one. I'm in the throes of it, man. It's like it's gonna be a journey, man. It's gonna be a journey. Eric Coates checking in. Hello, fellas. Yes, sir. Scott, however, says Scott, send me one of those Anakin packs. Yeah, no problem. I will get the address and I'll have him send it to you.
Yeah.
Scott Sell, he bought so many 3 3/4. I was very proud. But dude, they were all clones, man. They're let's not give them that much credit.
Yeah. Now this next comment is the most important one, though, man.
Yeah. Let me borrow that Pulse membership.
Now, here's the thing. We are setting up a fund for Hellrunner to get him that Pulse membership. If you want to donate, then throw that into the chat. But we got to get my man his Pulse membership. He's been asking for that for about a year now.
I just thought about something. It'd be cool. We should have some sort of contest or some sort of prize, which we buy a Pulse membership for somebody.
I'm telling you, like I said, Hellrunner has petitioned for it so much, he deserves it.
Yeah. And to be fair, again, I have to bring it to the entire pit, the entire network of a chance to do this. But yeah, I mean, I think that'd be kind of a cool like trivia night.
Exactly.
Another trivia, and then we'll buy a Pulse.
That would be kind of be cool. Yeah,
that is cool.
Trivia night would work itself out for a Hasbro Pulse membership prize.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
Hasbro, I know you're listening, so that's an idea, and we would love feedback on that too.
Hasbro's too cheap; they won't even sponsor you for like a free membership.
I
don't know. That's a lot of money from us.
Each one of you needs a membership. Yeah, mine's going to renew here pretty soon.
Oh yeah, it seems like it always renews, and when you actually get it, it seems like it already needs to be renewed.
And it's usually going to be around. It's going to be around Comic-Con, right? So when I'm pre-ordering, boom, $60. That goes nowhere.
Exactly.
In our world, it goes nowhere.
Yeah, but based on how many figures you buy, though, you save all.
It's worth it
on shipping.
Oh, 100%. I hate paying shipping. I hate it. That is like a keyword for me on eBay. Anything free shipping. So the $60, have an Amazon Prime for the free shipping. It does pay for itself. I will say that.
Well, you got to think about this. We're not at Darth Moocher's level with Star Wars, but let's say 30 figures a year, Mooch. So you think about the what the shipping on that would be out of the I think it's a $50 membership if I'm not mistaken.
It's 50
plus all the HasLabs he buys.
Exactly. So at this moment, you are basically snicking it to the man, brother. So
I mean, they're losing money on me. 100%. Yeah, dude, it's but and especially how Hasbro does it, where they don't just ship at like 5 or 6. It's one and then another one and another one. So that's like $15 a pop, boom, every time. So Yeah, yeah. So I just got some retro classified that a notification was shipped, and it's 3 individual from the same wave, 3 individual emails a day apart, and then there's 3 shipping notifications. So I'll get 3 boxes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was, again, man, good
Weird.
job, Mooch. Good job.
Yeah, got him. So no, Howard. Hey, study on trivia. Let me put it this way: study, study, study.
Look,
Just
I'll
listen,
be honest.
yeah.
I'll be honest with you. The last one, we're still putting that blame on Dr. Brentley. If Dr. Brentley was there, like I said, he would have known how many horns on Darth Maul's head, and we would have won that contest.
Yeah.
But no, he didn't show up. So
That's
that's
one
on us.
That's one
on
to
us.
remember for future. Anything Starlight Digest does is to remember how many horns are on Darth Maul's head.
Exactly. That was a good one too. Man.
Yeah. Believe it or not, that was a Trivia Pursuit question.
Really?
That Chris and I would way back in the day when we did Star Wars marathons, we'd go there from like 6 a.m. to like midnight, and we'd do the marathons and play Trivia Pursuit. And that was one where like, how many? And that was one that stuck with us as like the most obscure question ever. You know, it was kind of cool. Yeah, rip the system. Yeah, hell yes, John. I'm telling you, if just 5 of us pitched in $10 each to share membership, worth it. Yeah, you would. I think you would have to do it. Like, hey, you know what? You can organize that in our Discord, which is the link. Also, I'm hoping it's working. But you would just have to remember, because every time you add a payment, you know, you can do an address, but you know, take your payment off. So like, I don't go in there and just be like, boom, oh, I'm sorry, oops.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. All right. So when I was I always kind of like search the YouTubes and try to keep up to date on everything Star Wars, right? Well, Hot Toys announced that Darth Vader, right? The Darth Vader in the in the edition. Oh my god, dude. It's like in the medical thing, you know, we call him the Frankenvader. It's when he pops out and says no. But I mean, the detail on that dude, it's crazy. But then they also have the Jabba Denizens set wave coming up, starting with Bib Fortuna and all that stuff, right? And they had the Cantina members, and they're all Greedo, Walrus Man, they're all out, and I'm like, wow, they're really stepping up the game where they're even producing figures that we don't have on Black Series, you know, or they're gonna start doing that. One of the sentiment. Okay, this is all. I've never heard anybody confirm that they're doing this, but they're thinking about this, and it got me thinking for a split second. And when I start doing that, I go, "Man, am I in this category?" And here it is. A lot of people are starting to question, like, "Hey, if I'm going to be starting to pay $30 a figure or whatever, why not just go all into the deep end and start doing Hot Toys and Sideshow, getting rid of everything and jumping to the statues and the 3?" Because you know, it's one of those things. It's not because you know, it's like, well, geez, you know, it's already getting expensive anyway. So why not take that plunge? I think everybody besides the old like vintage would, if they had the opportunity to catch up on, you know, like the premier figures and the premier statues and stuff like that. A lot of people are starting to talk about it. I haven't heard anybody really do it, but they're starting to talk about it. Tommy brought this, or in his show on Friday, they were talking about it, and it was brought up again. It was brought up to the point where it was like, you know what? I'm thinking about just doing the dive to Hot Toys, getting rid of, you know, everything else and just doing that. You're right. Like, why not? If it's already getting expensive, then hell, let's just go. You know,
I think for some fans, I could see their frustration in that. And I could see them making the move to that. I hope that's not a trend that goes full out, because then Hasbro and these companies will then start to include, and you won't have the lowest price points on some of the stuff. You'll start having everything at a more exclusive, more higher price point. So I'm hoping that there's a select few, because I know there's some people like myself. I don't own any Hot Toys, and I think they're very interesting. Seeing them a lot, but it's just, you know, I think they're bigger than the average figures that I normally would have, and room issues and things like that. But I think their detail and everything is amazing. And so far, I just haven't seen one that I thought caught my eye that well. But I'm just hoping that's not a fair trend because Hasbro will catch on, Mattel will catch on, and then
Yeah.
next thing you know, we'll have this high price range of everything, and
Yeah.
will basically price out a lot of fans.
What I think is interesting about that is, I think there's something to be said, right? Like if you collect and you like to display them and that's it, and you don't want to really move them around a lot, or even from like a photography perspective, like you can't really beat slideshow. Like what they do, the stuff they do is amazing. What I would, and I've told you, like that Darth Vader one that came out, like that's on my list. Absolutely is on my list. Darth Nihilist is on my list, and then also what's his name?
Bane, probably.
Darth Malgus.
Oh, Malgus, yeah.
Yeah, so he's on. So those are like my three main ones right now. But I will say this: what I would love to see happen for the Black Series is for them to go over and take a look at what they're actually doing on slideshow, and then start producing that kind of stuff for the Black Series at that level. Like if you had some of the figures that they do for Hot Toys, those are awesome. But then you're always going to have the group of so if they made current versions of everything that I collect, whether it's classified or Legends or Star Wars, and they made them all in like 3 3/4, there's a very good argument for why I would collect those versus something else. Like I love Marvel Universe, right? The 3 3/4 ones.
Yeah.
Because you can build a giant collection
World building.
on the same shelf, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Where I think Hasbro's missing the mark for the Black Series is that they should look at like what is selling hot at Hot Toys and start making some version of like, you know, whether it's like in partnership because maybe they did give that license specifically to, you know, Hot Toys. I mean, we know they don't because how many Vaders do they have on both lines? But yeah, I think there is something to be said. If you're a true collector, I do see a world in where people are offloading their 1/12 figures and then just using that money to buy one or two individual Hot Toys they like, and then being able to like save up or whatever and get the next one, right? And start slowly. I think it's impossible if you're like, I'm just going to get the whole collection. It's like, well, you're at like $20,000.
Oh, you're on eBay at that point. Yeah. And, well, so Hasbro has tried a premium figure with their Hyper Real, and they did a Luke Bespin and a Vader, and it completely failed. In fact, you could still probably get them on Amazon for $60, $70 because they were like $80 figures. And these were 7-inch, you know, but the quality of them were horrible. It was just trash. People that got them in their hands, it was trash. So they tried that whole like, all right, a new line, you know, premium figure, whatever, I guess to compete with like Mayfex or SH, whatever. My question is, would they be misreading the market if they sat there and went, hey, look, everybody's buying Hot Toys, so let's get into that, even though, like I said, they're getting, or Lucasfilm's getting paid for the license. And so Hasbro can't do a 12-inch figure, right? Yeah. But so are they misreading the market saying like everybody's buying these, so we should get in the market? Or are they going to Hot Toys because it's this stuff? Overall, you're probably paying just as much if you're getting into Hot Toys because of the quantity and the higher price.
I think you're right. I think they are misreading the point. Like, you know, it's like the Marvel Legends series, the Maximum Spider-Man kind of thing. That was them trying to jump into another price range. I think they could do that with Star Wars easier than they could with Marvel.
Yeah.
And I think that, but now also, like you said, it can't be a Black Series bigger. That's not going to work. You've got to take it a step above, and it's got to look like a premium figure, and you've got to give all the bells and whistles. Maybe there's lighting effects or whatever, but you've got to do something where like it piques the interest of people saying, well, wait a minute, I don't even need a Hot Toy because this middle level's there. Hasbro could do it. Yeah. It's just, do they want to do that? But I think you're right. I think they are dropping the ball. There is a market for them to get in between Hot Toys and standard Black Series, and make money.
Yeah, I mean, there is a pause on the price increase, right? But
Yep.
that pause ain't gonna. I mean, they've already laid the groundwork. I think no matter what, they're gonna pull that trigger. And if it doesn't go to 29, it'll go to 27. I'm just throwing that out there.
It's going to 29.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said, if they ever came back and retracted, it's gonna go like, all right, we'll meet in the middle. We're gonna.
They're never gonna retract, brother.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much we as a Star Wars collecting in that scale, but not vintage scale, not 3 3/4, but 6-inch scale, right? I wonder how much are we demanding for more premium figures that are in between a Hot Toys. I know price wise maybe, but a whole new scale is hard for to introduce. Just like I mentioned the Hyper Reel, right? Yeah. It was like an introduction of their premium figure, but a complete different scale on a new line.
Yeah, but you said it wasn't premium though, because the scopes were terrible.
It was like they said the Luke Skywalker. What was shown, it looked like my Hot Toy Bespin, but when people got it, it was like rubber. It was like
that's
a rubber figure.
If you're not giving the quality, then you're not going to get that. And again, there are people out here, and I've seen the comments. It says like SH Figure Arts or Mayfex. Look, in a lot of ways, if you did a superior product than Black Series, because people do want. Look, if they did a scale up and it was premium, then I would probably move from Black Series to that, because I much rather have more detail. More aesthetics, more accessories, more with lighting. I would take that over than I'm already going to pay a high price on Star Wars Black Series figures, so I might as well get the in between would work for me a little bit better. That's just me, but I think there's a lot of fans out there that I know some people just buy Mayfex and HRF. That's all they care about.
I wonder if well, like Marvel's testing the waters with the Maximum series, right? And we've talked about it could work in Star Wars.
The waters, but emptying the pool real quick on that.
Yeah. I think Star Wars would be a little maybe more successful if that was if they had a $60 figure, but don't rebrand it as a new line. My thing is you have to make it a Black Series figure, but it's a premium Black Series. I mean, this is like like you were saying, here's a figure with extra. I mean, you got hands, you got sabers, you got lighting effects, all these things, but it's the Maximum series of that line, because again, when people hear new line, it scares existing collectors, and Scott could test to this, because like we're already invested, we're already neck deep in this stuff, so to like start over in a new line, meaning here's a new scale, which a new line, therefore all these figures are going to be remade now in this whole thing. That's how it's like starting over. So adding to the existing line, and but compete at the same time, but not taken away from these. So you have a Vader that's $29.99, and then you have a Vader with the everything, removable helmet, more sabers, more hands, electric effect, shock effects that in Return of the Jedi, accessories, all that stuff. So you give a run for the money on the SH Figure Arts and the Mayfex and all that stuff. But I don't know if the Hasbro's contractually not allowed to because of those licenses. And you know what I mean? And you don't know the behind the scenes on it. And because otherwise, why haven't they done it yet? You know what I mean?
I think complacency, as well as I do, Hasbro get into a niche.
You're right about that.
They don't like to try to get out of it, but I think you're right. I think if they called it something like Star Wars Black Series Premium, it's just a premium figure, I think it would be easier to swallow than to say, "Hey, this is Star Wars, the Jedi
Hyper Reel, the ones that they tried."
People get pissed off. I don't want to just purchase a brand new set of series, but if you slid it in well and did it with the marketing, I think you could get that.
Yeah. Arthur Henderson is checking in. Let's check in with the chat here real fast. Commander Bly, Hyper was overpriced at $80. But the Vader's fire. You know what? It's funny because I want it because I buy everything Vader. I'm like an instant buy Vader, and that's still one that I am looking at. The price was at 80, and then it dropped down to like 40, right? At one point, and now it's back up to like the $79, $80. So I was like, I missed my mark. I should have, because I'm still waiting. Because I'll buy the Vader figure, just to kind of test.
It's at 127 right now on Amazon.
Well, there you go. See, that's not even cool, man. So I miss. I'll never have that. So, let's see. How Runner. I've been waiting on my first hot toy from Tommy's giveaway, but he's ghosting.
Oh, no.
I'm sure it's coming. But awesome. But that's your first. My first one was a Vader, and it's a avalanche.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Stu John, I have zero interest in figures that big. If the 6-inch went away tomorrow, I'd either stop collecting or transition into the vintage collection.
Okay.
I can tell you right now, I can send you a link if you want to do a buy it now with $18 shipping. You can get a Hyper Real Series Vader for $59.
Really?
Yeah, it's on eBay right
just
now.
go ahead and send it over to him.
Yeah,
I'll send it to you right now. I know a guy, so
see what happens. Yeah. Hal Runner. Well, where's Scott? Scott is ditching us today because it's not the regular day, and he doesn't get paid on Tuesdays, so it's like no. Yeah, him and Tommy are I cannot make it because we're a day after our scheduled time. So, I'll let him know that you were thinking about him, Hal Runner.
Thank you. Thank you, Hal Runner.
Oh, there he's in the chat though. If you wanna talk,
there. He's there.
And or
I sent you a link in that chat.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Told Tommy to throw his away. Throw it away. Yeah.
That's not like Commander Bly.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, you probably super chatted him to tell him to throw it away.
Commander Bly messes up, and then he tries to correct himself, and then also messes that up, and then
I know. I've done it so many times, and it's just kind of like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, we've kind of had this talk before about a new line or a premium line and stuff like that. In my book, I would say there's two things I want to say about Black Series, right? And I can't say it for Vintage Collection because they're already doing it. Vintage Collection is a world building, and it's easier to do. Yeah. But I will say this though, I gotta say this, man. Black Series, they told everybody, look, we're just going to concentrate on the sculpt, the figure, because that's the key of this thing, and then Vintage Collection is the world building, But I think there's room for that scaled up figure, right, with accessories and, like I said, the world building stuff that it's included in it. Sure. And I also think because if you could do it with G.I. Joe Classified, you could do these big vehicles. So space is not. I refuse to even consider that anymore. Like space is not a consideration anymore. Like collectors, or even for Hasbro, they're going to give you vehicles. G.I. Joe is going to continue with the big vehicles. The HasLab, I mean, the Cantina. I mean, come on. I mean, like, we'll make room.
Yep.
I just refuse to believe that Black Series cannot go back to the vehicle lines, and I've heard that they're going to kind of like transition over, starting with the smaller vehicles on up, like they did with Darth Maul's speeder, and maybe the ATRT. Maybe who knows what San Diego Comic-Con has in the store, but
I can say if Hasbro did that, then they're doing the Lord's work for us Black Series people, because I don't care what it would be. I don't care how much room it would take. Damn it, I would find a room. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to talk to my realtor. Think I gotta get a bigger house right now. But if they started doing vehicles, look, I've always wanted the Jedi Starfighters. I would love to have anything Black Series with that. That is, classified. You would absolutely have my money into that.
Yeah, man. I mean, they started that route. They had the Snow Speeder. They had the First Order TIE Fighter. They had Luke's Land Speeder. I mean, like, they had a plan going forward, but like, yes, exactly, dude. Arthur, come on, man.
Right here,
Black Series X-Wing. Don't care how big. That should be the next HasLab. You would fund it.
Arthur is speaking gospel here.
Yeah. Scott Solo, if Barbie can have a dream house and dream Corvette, the Star Wars can have vehicles for its dolls. Absolutely. Wow, hey, look, here's the thing though. We're talking Hot Toys, right? Hot Toys is doing it too. They have the AT. They have speeders. I just picked up the speeder from Chet, the biker scout and everything. There's a vehicle, man. It's this big, but I don't care. I will knock down a wall to put, especially a Black Series X-Wing, because in Vintage Collection is starting to do that with their bigger items like the Millennium Falcon and AT-AT and stuff. That the Black Series is going to be almost movie scaled accurate as far as like the plate. Like, it's not going to be oversized for playability. It's going to almost be like a model, And look, that key talking point is exciting all around.
Yes.
You ask any Star Wars
Mhm.
show with toys, and you throw in an X-wing as their next HasLab, I think you got a winner.
Yeah. No,
Um, especially
I
now.
agree with you on this, that I think we would find the room, even if that meant, like, purging some other parts of collections,
We
because
have
I think that those ships are so iconic that, it's like it's just in your thought process.
yeah.
And like TIE fighters, and I don't care what it is, you could do it. Now, look, they're not going to get something insane, like, like something crazy out of point. Like, I
Like
don't
a
see a
112
Millennium
series Death Star.
or
Yeah,
like a
yeah. I
or
mean,
like a Millennium Falcon. I can't see them doing something
no,
that huge.
but there's a
But
limit. Like I said, if
yeah,
G.I. Joe can do it, because G.I. Joe has all levels of it, right?
yeah.
And they're,
Mhm.
I mean, they got the Rattler, the Hiss, the Dragonfly, plus they had, I think there's talks of the Wolverine, the Thunder. There's all kinds of big vehicles, 18 to 20 to 24-inch vehicles. We have the freaking Sailor Barge
True.
that came out. It's huge. The Razor Crest, it's a big vehicle. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. And I do believe that there's still enough market for if they released a vehicle at this point, because they had done I'm talking like a bigger vehicle,
Yeah,
ATRT scale, and ATST would probably be at the limit, the chicken walker. That would be like the limit as far as size wise.
Oh yeah.
But you would HasLab that, and I do believe that would pass. I still think a Rancor could pass. But anyway, I was about to go off on a whole.
We saw.
Yeah, you saw that. Oh man, but
for really quick to kind of go back to what we were talking about Black Series.
Yeah.
One of the things that Alex and I had talked about a little bit was, I think that they have it in them to level up the Black Series, because I don't know if you got it or not. I don't think you did, but the Black Series Ronin and R5 D56.
I didn't get
like
it, but
that,
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it was. I think when you came over, is up on my shelf. Like, and that figure for a Black Series figure is like mind blowing. Like, I know some people aren't into Visions, whatever, that's fine, but like the wiring in the cape was phenomenal. It had a ton of accessories. The packaging was wild, right? And it was $70.
Yeah,
and it's a fantastic build. It's fantastic. I have like no complaints on that figure at all.
Yeah.
And so the question is like, okay, so why can't you just do this for other figures?
Tommy did kind of say that, from the rumblings that he heard, that was also it's not really a test. It's something that direction as far as like the quality and that wire cape.
Mhm.
Maybe not that 2-pack, and maybe not, that price point, but a little bit more like you were talking about, that attention to the posability details, wired capes, a little better soft goods, plastic and soft goods mix. They are still in this, still trying to experiment with a lot of it. And I know, like last time when we met with Toy Chest, it's like, look, you do know that, of course, collectors are your beta testers.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna buy the 15th Vader, they're gonna buy the 15th Greedo, and we're gonna tell you what we still want, and then they're gonna come up with another one. It's job security for them, but we're getting a little bit, it's not that we're getting slide to their tactics. It's but you're abusing us. You know what I mean?
I will say, even at that price point, the artwork in the box was a work of art. Just on itself. And I think if you're going to give that, because it kind of reminds you of the stuff that you see from the higher companies, like the Four Horsemen Studios or something. If you're giving me that, I understand. I didn't even blink an eye for the Ronin price, because it's like, this is just a great piece of artwork just to have on its own. If you're doing that, I'm in for that. That's where you can get me at the price point, because it was worth it.
It's got to be right. You have to walk away going like, I feel good about this. Even if you take it, rip it out, put it on your shelf, and you have a figure, like Chad said, even if $70, the package is gone, but the figure remains, and that quality is there.
Mm-hmm.
Ronin, wonderful. Mando Mike checking in. Yeah, better late than early, of course.
Mando.
Bly. I mean, again, I think our our next big thing, and that's cool. We have a couple months, to wait for it, and I'm good with that. A little bit of a calm before the storm when it comes to a major live stream or a premiere or stuff. I don't know if what Commander Bly is talking about, the new Annie Obi-Wan from Revenge of the Sith, if that's going to be their comic exclusive. I think that's what Blitz said, or and it's gonna have the coloring of like the magma and all that stuff, and and I will be all over it.
Detachable Anakin legs,
Yeah. There you go.
You just get like a torso. It's like build your own Vader.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, you know how awesome that there hasn't been a build of anything in Black Series, right? I mean, they did do it in 3 3/4 a while ago, like build a droid and stuff like that. And I would love that gimmick to come into Black Series. I really, even if it's droid or like you said, Anakin's.
Yeah, just be like
back to take his torso. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it would work.
Yeah, I don't know how runner. That's one thing. Like, it's one thing. Like in convention exclusives and stuff, they don't really. I don't remember them doing anything 3 3/4 exclusives. Always been 6-inch and across the lines. Like it's always been. I mean, lately, I know they have. Get me wrong, but I know they have. But I don't. You know what? We'll have to check on that, Hal Runner. If anything is planned for Vintage Collection, I don't know. I feel like they've given Vintage Collection so much anyway. The HasLabs, the play sets, the everything else. It's like what else? What else do they need?
Well, like I said, if you're paying,
there's always more. There's always more. I understand. That was a sarcastic comment. I was like, retools. Yes, Hal Runner. I think that's what the word on the street is, that Obi-Wan Anakin is a whole retooled face sculpts, whole retooled bodies, and it comes in a package deal that reflects the Mustafar battle. So
I would love to see that, man.
Yeah, I might
see that.
Here's the thing. If it's packed, because exclusives do really good things, right?
Yeah.
It's packaged in this awesome kind of thing. I might buy 2. And I will, just because sometimes you want to preserve that, I might. I don't know.
You will.
You hear that now? You got to.
Yeah, right. So it's like going against my own rules of the game here, but yeah, Mando, you still need to build that Darth Vader back to tank diode. Absolutely.
Yep.
That's one thing I would love to showcase more. So anybody has any diodes that they work on or any kind of like toy photography, Star Wars wise, let us know. I want to pop it up in here and make a discussion out of it. I think Stu John, I believe it was Stu John who mentioned toy photography up in the comment section, but I think that'd be an awesome little segment to get into.
Rhino Hobbies.
Rhino,
doing a great job too. So love to see their work, man. Present it more.
Yeah, because I mean, like I said, Chet's into it, right? He's got the toy photography stuff. It's one thing to see a collection on the shelf. It's one thing to kind of like talk about it, but it's another thing to really take those figures into a world where you're in control and you put it there, and then showing that to people. You're like, my figure can do that. Like that's wow. And then try to take that and preserve that environment on the shelf is another world, right?
Yeah.
So. Mando, I helped Mando do the Empire Strikes Back to tank, Luke in the back to tank.
Okay.
I 3D printed the back to tank for him and stuff, and it was a great dial. And you got to get back into it, Mike.
Yeah.
You also, I should send a link to Mike's channel too, because I think he did document some of those builds.
Okay,
too.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because he did a whole Sarlacc pit and everything.
Yeah, definitely want to check that out.
Yeah. Let's see. Hal Runner, Black Series is so loose with their leaks and info. That's so true. It's so true, and maybe Black Series has been a harder sell since its inception.
Yes.
I for one was really excited to see a 6-inch version of Star Wars ever for the first time ever to come out. That when I got back into collecting, that was my go-to, not going back to 3 3/4, right? But it's been a hard sell, but also it's still popular. I mean, there's still.
I think it took them a time to get their stride, because I think the Black Series figures they're producing now are some of the best they've ever produced. Early on, it was tough to get in, and just some of the scopes, some of the situations were. But now I think they're at the point where they've mastered this.
Oh yeah, I'm very very confident in the Black Series sculpts.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to like the double jointed this and the swivel arm, yeah, I mean, that's disappointing because I know another figure's coming of the same type later down the line. That's what disappoints me on it. But for the most part, they just go in one pose and they just live on.
Well,
the
it's like the evolution of Vader. Every time they do a Vader, just another piece of detail gets better. And you're like, wow, it's just jumping up in quality.
Yeah.
So
you know what? And when I was talking about the whole people just talking, I think they're more thinking out loud about hey, if I'm gonna just go in, I'll just go Hot Toys and forget everything else. They're also in the same sentence is going back to vintage, not the vintage collection, but like 1970, 1980s Kenner figures.
Absolutely.
I'm scared of that because you might see a big resurgence of it. So that guess what? The demand's going to go high. Therefore, the prices go high with it. If you're in a market to sell, it's good for you. But if you're like me trying to find those gems now, they're just going to get even more out of reach if that's a thing going to go forward, you know.
Here's the thing that I'll give you an argument on that is that I think because like when you have them actually producing vintage collection figures now, you know, a lot of people, like we were saying about the hunts, a lot of people don't want to go to the flea markets, the vintage shows, there's so many hard ways other than online. You can find a lot of deals in person. So I've noticed that with like the GI Joe vintage, it's easier to find now because they have Super 7 out there, because they do
maybe more people are
classified.
digging them out of the basements, right? The attics,
Because people just don't want to hunt for it. It's the hunt part that's changed now. The whole philosophy has. So I don't think so. I don't think the price will jump up dramatically. I think there's always going to be bad contributors who are going to have this premium price for everything. But I think you'll still be able to find good deals and everything because some people will just be like, it's easier for me to click on Hasbro Pulse, order this and that, and I'm done.
I wish there was an app that would find it for me.
There is an app. There
might be. Yeah, there might be an app.
It's coming your way.
Stay tuned. I don't have the SKN guys on here for nothing. Just saying.
Working. Always
I'm just
working.
saying. I'm just saying. It's actually cool because like even when we do our Wednesday shows, you know, we're always like Star Wars needs to be in a good place, and we're waiting for it to be in. I mean, it's like good, and then it goes like, what did you do? And then good is like, what did you do again? You know, I feel like the way with the toys sometimes too, and the collectible, things. But I do, even with all the talks about, you know, the more expensive stuff and the tariffs and stuff, I do think that a lot of people are retracting a little bit, and it might be a good thing for both for the industry and collector industry, because then they can really like, all right, look, we need to change the way they do business. They need to, and again, it could be the talks of like, all right, here's different levels of premium figures or a base figure, or even a system where you could buy a loose figure through Hasbro Pulse for $5 cheaper, and then for those mitten box collectors, a redesigned box for those guys who to put those on the shelf. You know what I mean? So there could be a market for all that stuff. And again, how I started this whole podcast was times always change. Nothing lasts forever. You know, you'll see it overtake, but then you give it enough time, it's going to be revamped and retooled, just like everything else in this world. So, and the toy industry has never been one to just stay the course either. It's always changing, right? So,
well, I think people forget we dictate the market.
Oh yeah,
and
with your wallets, man. You know,
as consumers, we have the opportunity. If you want, look, you speak with your wallet. You tell these companies what you want, and believe me, you know the best part of them. They're publicly traded. They have to make money every quarter, so that's
their goal. That's their goal is to make money.
They're going to listen, so that's the best way to affect it. And I do think the higher price points will make them pivot because they're going to really have to fight for the consumer and the dollar, because you've jumped to a price point where the consumer's like, is this worth it now?
Yeah. Well,
it's only going to make them work harder now.
Yeah. I mean, like, as a business, they have their job to do.
Yep.
But like, you can't just go over there and go, look, it is what it is. You're paying this much more. Collectors are like, all right, fine. Where's more hands? Where's another face sculpt? Where's more accessories? So if you want us to pay more, then give us more in those, even if it's small little increments, you know what I mean? Or like I said, different avenues of choices, you know?
Yeah.
that's again, I hate always that it always has to be an us versus them. Why can't we always be on the same page with Hasbro or any, not just Hasbro, just any toy company? There has to be something where we all see the same kind of goal and common ground, and we all agree on a choice rather than like, this is it, and then we don't like this, and then where you're doing, and so it becomes that us versus them. And sometimes those live streams show that it's an us versus them. You know?
I think the live streams do, but there are small. Look, I think you're getting that from the independent market. I think the independent toy makers out there are listening to fans, actively acknowledging fans. You know, I've seen it from the Horsemen. I've seen it from, you know, Ramen Toys. I've seen it from, you know, company we deal with Odd Frog. I've seen it from Grindhouse Toys. There are people that want the back and forth and ask the fan, hey, well, what do you want? What can we do to service it? How can we have a more community base? And you can actually speak. When we went to Toy Atlanta, you could walk up and speak to almost every member of the Four Horsemen. You don't really get to do that at Hasbro. So there are those. I think the bigger companies are now, like we've heard this about Star Wars, is that the team has popped into people's live streams. I think they're starting to see that they need that community again. Yeah,
as long as it stay the course, right? And not do it for a month and then retract and then get the complaints. All of a sudden it boils over. All right, let's do it again. And then they retract. So it's got to be like a business standard moving forward to it's like, look, you don't have to tell us everything. You don't have, but if you just kind of like take some polls, you know, react to what the majority of us are purchasing. I mean, a lot of it has to do with character selection, honestly. I mean, I think that's 90% of it. With the other stuff, and you know, I think we can live with a lot of the other choices that people complain about, but a lot of it's like Hasbro. I know you guys have your you know, fingers to the pulse on the down low, and it does boil down to character selections, you know. On the anniversary slides of it, especially on Star Wars, like the character selection choices are, to me personally, baffling. Most of those Revenge of the Sith characters should be Attack of the Clone characters, but you know, hey, that's just me. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have, but and that's where I kind of like.
I think if you're not going to speak to fans, I think if you're not going to speak to the fans directly, I think that polling is probably the best way. To just ask, and people will tell you what they want and what they don't want.
Commander Blight, the independent toy makers are trolling Hasbro streams. They are. Why is Chet? Well, I mean, that it's a good conversation to have because again, it's thinking out loud, right? It's we're in this, it's a hobby and we're paying for this, and other people are in on it, and a lot of times one idea can really kind of go off, and I'm wondering how much of it is just talk versus people are going to start selling those collections off and doing that, you know, because again, if the thought's there, because there was a split second I went, yeah, maybe. No. You know, it's like, like maybe.
But you know, most importantly, what does Chet want?
Chet, what do you want out of Star Wars collecting? Because I know you I don't think you've pinpointed a direction. You're just kind of like things that catch you are cool, but
so I'm kind of I'm gonna keep it down, Mando. Sorry.
Easy. That's enough.
Hey, whoa. You're talking way too much. Shut up. Look, I've told you, so I'm I'm Empire 1000% all the way, or Jedis that kind of like tote the line. So I think for me, from a collector series, I think what would revitalize the Star Wars Black Series is the vehicles. I think they need to get into it. I think they need to stop trying to figure it out. It's like you have so many iconic ships, pick one and make it and let it sell out. And I'm in this weird phase with Star Wars toys, like I'm building the Sith collection. I still haven't found a Vader that I want. That's like I've bought a couple of them, but it's not really doing too much for me. But I'll tell you where I'm at, which is right now a lot of my money is going. Which one's this?
This is the 40th anniversary Vader Black Series. This is like the definitive Vader on my. So you got to get your hands on one of these. Yeah,
I don't have that one. So where I'm at right now is that one, I think Black Series. I think that they need to add a little bit more articulation to them. The thigh swivels like a big thing. I think that people when you're there's not only are there so many iconic ships and planets and sets from Star Wars, there are poses that you just aren't able to get in some like one way or another with a Black Series. But where I spend a lot of my money is like, I have those 3 Hot Toys that I want to get, but also I'm in this phase of like going back and buying all the UCS series Lego ships.
Right.
And like, they're out there. I found a guy that still has the AT-AT in the shipper box. It's $1,000, but then in October, Lego's releasing the UCS Death Star.
Yeah.
At $1,000, which comes with like a purchase. They're also releasing, I think it's a UCS like TIE Fighter as well. So, and if I'm going to spend a lot of money, like that's kind of what I want to do. And we've talked about what to do with like streams and how to use that to like give to charity or some version of that. So I think that for me, Star Wars, I'm very specific. I have, there's also another project that I'm working on, which you got to witness, and I think you started to cry when I pulled it out of the box. And I am going to announce that. We're going to try to have it done within the next week, and I'm going to pop into one of the Wednesday shows to kind of announce it and show it because it is very specific to this channel. So I look at Star Wars more of like if you've grown up with Star Wars and you've grown up like watching those nonstop, reading about Star Wars, everything Star Wars. As a Star Wars collector, you're trying to collect for the art of it. So I think that the Black Series needs to be poised towards the artistic side, right? And I will tell you, there is a trick, and it will piss off a lot of people. But to get really good photography on Star Wars figures, if you just spray them lightly with like a matte spray, they photograph 10,000 times better. And I know that that's very controversial because you're spraying the figure, but outside of shooting stormtroopers that have to have like the high gloss look, you get a lot better photography. So I think I can see for sure Star Wars collectors migrating to Hot Toys just because they look
quality.
The quality because they use so many soft goods, right? And I think that's a route that I would love to see Hasbro test on their 1/12 scale, which is like overusing soft goods on a 1/12 scale in Star Wars, because there's so many aspects that call for that just like for like textures that you can't necessarily get from a mold.
I gotcha. Yeah, as long as it's heavier material, because all the soft goods on Black Series usually look like they're marshmallows.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. The Ronin figure, like the whole cape, everything on there is like super heavy, and the way that they did the wiring. It would have to be like there's so many good uses you could do with even Vader, like right.
Yeah. That's dude. Like the one pros I can think of is the Rogue One when he's staring at the end of it. After his hallway scene, he's staring off into space, and the wind, that's just flapping in the wind with the cape is and the stormtroopers behind him. I'm like, I need that on a shelf, man.
Yeah, there is a really good way to make your current capes, and I do this with some of mine. But you get floral wire; it's really thin, and you get the black stuff, and then you can stitch that really quick into the cape, and it adds like little to no weight, but the flexibility is like phenomenal.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll see what they do on that, because again, we were. A little birdie told us that they are working on more wired capes and more of that kind of like posability stuff. So I do think that they might have their finger on the pulse on quality, right? I know that Stu John was mentioning about Black Series and scale and all that stuff. Will people buy the vehicles? And I've always said quality over quantity. You give us an X-wing that is like plucked right from the show or the movies, and with all kinds of accessories and blast effects and electronic, whatever it is, I think people will just clear off a shelf on purpose. Like this is worth going and make room for it. I G.I. Joe's doing it.
Yep.
Yeah. People do with G.I. Joe already.
Yeah. I mean, like I can't, I just don't understand. And again, Star Wars is in a good place, and it has to match like when the toys are in a good place too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it has to, because again, it's very toxic out there. And
Absolutely.
a lot of people,
Well, in Star Wars, they have the same. It's like them and Marvel Legends have the same person feeding the wrong information into their heads. Because Marvel Legends doesn't really do vehicles either, and there's a ton they could tap into.
Yeah,
right? And
very
so,
true,
like,
man.
that's the whole thing of like, it's wild. I'll be honest, it's wild to me that the Black Series doesn't have that many. Like why are you not on par with like the vintage series and vehicles? Because everyone would buy them.
Yeah, it's honestly, and again, this is a Wednesday show talk, but it's because of the sequels. The sequels effed it up for everybody. I mean, across the merchandising lines, because they had, like I said, they had Rey's speeder, they had Emphasis Ness's speeder, they had they were coming up with vehicles, and they just hit a wall because none of them were selling.
I think that's a cop out. No one was going to buy that trash anyways. They want all of the original, like vehicles. Like, yeah, I mean, I know people buy them, right? But I'm saying like
snow speeder. I mean, nobody bought the snow speeder when it came out. It's like it was $100, but or $129, and
but you're going to use a snow speeder to get people excited about Star Wars vehicles.
I mean, it wouldn't be my first one. Yeah. It wouldn't be my first one, but like, I would definitely buy a snow speeder because
you could launch a TIE fighter and an X-wing at the same damn time, and they would both sell out. Yeah. And then you would know your market, right? If you go bigger than an X-wing, people can justify the cost. If you go smaller than the X-wing, people will justify the cost. So you have to. It's like when Marvel was like, "We're doing Engine of Vengeance." No one cares. You didn't market it right. No one cared. Then Ace came in, did it. Everyone wanted it. And that's where I think that you start is like, hey, test the waters with it. Don't worry about anything outside of the original and put those vehicles out.
Well, I agree. But like I said, they did try it. But again, when Star Wars was on a downhill to almost rock bottom with The Last Jedi, like that time frame, when they said, hey, we're going to do stuff. And then nope, people just stopped. It was like, and then again, they got scared. They were like, oh, what do we do? And then they, instead of leaning into it, like you said, leaning into original trilogy,
back away from it.
They not only hit the wall, they buried it. And we're like, we can't even look in that room anymore. Like the Rancor, we can't look at it. Oh, it's like, dude, put it back out. Let's go. Let's do this. Stop with this negative stuff and put it back out. You were 500, not even less than 500 off. Like you could just Anyway.
Did no one buy the First Order TIE Fighter?
I have two of them. Tommy has one. Scott has one. A lot of people buy them.
Why do you have two of them?
One was gift. I'll tell you why. Because the one that's sitting, I have it over here. I bought it for $19.99 on Barnes and Noble, and then somebody else gifted one to me. I didn't buy them a regular price. For like $20, dude, I have two TIE Fighters.
The Black Series ones.
Yeah, the $130 one.
I mean, if you need to sell one to bulk up money for your vintage collection,
I will. How much you want for it? I will sell it to you.
I mean, yeah, sure. I'll give you $20. Hold on, let me have to pay you that right now.
Yeah.
I was just curious because I know that they did that, but I'm not sure why they didn't follow it up with any. Because that also came with a figure, right?
Yeah. They yes, the TIE Fighter, First Order TIE Fighter. I know, but I know that. I know, but that's the great thing about doing a podcast. We can sit on this side of it, and then everybody in Hasbro is going like counting the figures behind him, going, he's complaining about what? How many? Look at all that money we got from him. It's like, but everybody's personal collection is personal to them, I want to see more original trilogy. And again, if you were to launch a campaign with vehicles, the X-Wing or X-Wing, I would say hands down should be number one, TIE Fighter number two, and then from there, those are your two biggest ones. I don't know if you can go bigger than that. Then you can go reverse engineer it back down to ATSTs, ATRTs. Then you could do a bunch of clone stuff. Like I said, if Hot Toys could do it and sell, and sell them for lower than a HasLab would have been, I mean, geez, dude. Yeah.
They got to work harder at that.
Bidding war for the first order TIE fighter.
Outrunner.
All right, guys. Well, let's get out of here. There's so much more to be said about this. So again, the conversation never really stops, and we will see where things go. Not expecting anything in June too much, but again, Comic-Con,
we'll see.
Sure.
We'll see.
Oh my God, the executive.
Yeah,
a Black Series executive. I'm not kidding you. It would probably be. Oh man, if a Star Destroyer is a football field.
Yeah.
A football, 300 feet, right?
Yeah.
The executor is about 10 times bigger than that. If that's Darth Vader's ship, it's 301 Bly.
Commander Bly's on Price is right now.
Stu John's at 50. All right, guys. Yeah, 12 foot diameter Falcon. We'll we'll live in that sucker. That's my new bedroom.
Yep.
All right, guys, let's get out of here. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat. You guys got awesome. Everybody on the replay crew, get your comments in the section below. Click all those links. I'm gonna plug Tommy's channel, Bliss Transmissions. Go over there. The dude is out of control.
Yeah.
But you know what? We're enablers, so let's encourage more. Let's encourage that.
Yeah.
How many hot toys did he buy? 7 hot toys.
Way too many.
So, hey, 7 is the low number now. That's the number to beat, Tommy. So, hopefully he's back on, when he gets back, his scheduling, all that stuff works out, and he'll be back on. But again, Bliss Transmissions, link is in the section below. I will kick it over to Alexander Storm for SKN Network. Go.
Absolutely. Before we get to that, though, Bandito Radio, 112 FM. If you are a toy customizer, a toy photographer, or just a toy enthusiast at all, there is a radio station for you, and it's Bandito Radio. And now it lives on its own YouTube channel, Bandito Radio, 112 FM on YouTube, and it is 24 hours, 24/7 live. And every Friday, there's new shows dropped on it, like Action Figure Frequencies. I know the two guys that do that show, and also there's Full Frontal Purple Gang. So it's got 2 original live streams. They drop on Fridays. So look for your social medias, on SKN or over at Odd Frog. When they'll be dropping live at those times. So make sure everybody from here jump over there, subscribe to the channel, get your listening needs. If you listen to country, you listen to rap, you listen to pop, you listen to jazz, whatever it is all there, and it is specifically designed for the toy enthusiast.
Yeah. And
if you find yourself so inclined that you want to see a lead-in show before the best damn Star Wars show on YouTube, the Starlight Digest podcast, pop in the Toy Box Chronicles on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific time, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And me and Chet, we're going to talk about the, they got a Marvel Legends fan stream that's coming up on Thursday. So Wednesday, we're going to give our little predictions of what we think they're going to drop and everything. We kind of know, but, it's nice to debate that. And then on Fridays, we've got Pixel, Plastic, and Ink. If you get your toy fix on, you get your movie fix on, you get your comic fix on. On Friday nights, Pixel, Plastic, Ink, myself, Mr. Maddox, Rad, and Dr. Brentley. And last week was a pretty good one because we had a special Mission Impossible review that myself and Chet, fresh out of the theater, were able to give. So something like that. I know we got Rad's going to do a little Lilo and Stitch. A fan to that. So looking forward to all great things on SKN. But of course, that all leads into the Wednesday night show. If you aren't watching the Starlight Digest podcast, you're making a grave mistake, aren't they, Darth Moocher?
Absolutely, especially because you would think that there's no shows and we have nothing to talk about. Oh, my friend, we have cooked up a show for you guys tomorrow. It's actually going to be really cool. We keep up with the times, news, rumors, theories across the whole entire Star Wars galaxy. You guys know that, but in case you don't, somebody that would love to know it, tell a friend. It's Bring a Friend Wednesdays. Of course, and hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Never miss a show. Notifications, bells, all on. And it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. So Bandito Radio, 112 FM. I have it on 24/7. And that's no lie. That is not a lie. The things that I do, it's in the background. It's great. And Chet, do you have anything else to add for SKN before we get out of here?
I do. And it's actually something that includes kind of everybody. But we have partnered with a new online toy store that is doing a soft launch right now, but on June 8th, you can come see it at Robo Toy Fest, but it's called Holy Grail Toys. And basically, it's an online toy store backed by a bunch of, it has a board of industry professionals. David Vonner has been the main backer of this toy store. So go check it out. It's basically a place where you can find toys that are grails, and we partnered with them because they go around and they find people's collections and they help them sell them. Minus all of the they will sell the vintage collection if it's something that's hard to get. But it's a place where people can sell their collections without all the crazy eBay fees or whatnot fees. And it's verified. So we have partners all across the U.S. that verify and let us know. And then we organize the shipping and sell everything. You can go to holygrailtoys.com right now and kind of check it out. And then also Moocher had mentioned something earlier about how to find things that you're looking for on toys. So Moocher, I put the link in the private chat if you want to copy and paste that over. But there is an app that is being developed, and it is a community-driven app, and people that are involved in Sarlacc Digest and Toy Box Chronicles, Pixel Plastic Inc., everything else. It's called Toy Hunter. And this is an app that allows you to do the searches when you're trying to negotiate. So you know the pricing of what's actually been sold. You can add it to your trade window, add it to your collection. The trade window tells you the value of everything in between that. You can make the trade in person is ideally what it's for. As you're walking through toy hunts, it pings other people that have the app, and it tells you what's in their collection. You can make trades there. So it is supposed to be missing an E on purpose. It is something that is it's an app thing. I don't know.
Exclusive.
It's weird, but
it's exclusive.
Yeah, it's exclusive. But Moocher got to see it firsthand. We've been working on it. Yeah, we've been working on it for months. So if you're one of the few, we're going to be picking some of our subscribers between Sarlacc and SKN and Toy Mercs to actually start beta testing Purple Gang. People that subscribe that we know will eventually get invites to beta test. And so we're excited about it. It's been a long time coming, but appreciate everyone. Thank you for having me on the Toy Chest. It's been fun. It's been real. And, next time, maybe you guys will let me talk a little bit more.
You got to talk a hell of a lot more than you did on the last the Sarlacc show. So.
I did, but everyone kept paying you to kick me off on the last one.
That's true. I mean, to be fair, the pit spoke.
I know, it's fine.
All right, guys. Well, Tashi Station Emporium, go get your stands, all your figure stands needs. The link in the description below. And there's the YouTube channel that is taking off. So make sure. And a whole rebranding is coming. A whole rebrand, just to tease it. But again, that is all the house cleaning. And I think we're out of here until next time, guys. We will see you tomorrow with an all day sit back and get and just podcast, just watch podcasts all day, starting with SKN and then hitting it. So, or actually Toy Mercs, SKN, Sarlacc Digest. It's all in there.
Absolutely.
Go, guys. Scott's not here, but
good night, Scott.
There you go. Do we recast Chris yet? We'll have to tune in tomorrow to find out if we recasted him. All right, guys, have a good night.
This is Grand Admiral Thrawn. You are listening to the Sarlacc Digest. What a fascinating play on words.